Great. You have the
All
floor,
right.
sir.
All right. So thank you very much. A very wonderful morning to every one of us, and thank you for being part of this uh, webinar. And we hope that we'll be able to learn together and as we move forward. So AI in research, just like Dr. Ben has rightly said that research is part of us as academics, and research has evolved over the time. It's actually moved from where we used to know it up to what AI is helping us to actually achieve. And that is what we actually want to look at in today's webinar and to also have a hands-on. All right, so, but I really want to look at it in two different perspectives. Okay, so that's why I said AI paradox in research. So when you say paradox, you look at the one side that is so sweet, and you also look at another side that is the bitter truth about it. So when you put a chocolate in your mouth, you discover that chocolate might be so bitter, let's say from cocoa, and the thing at the end of the day, you also the sweetness is such bitterness. So we actually want to look at it from those two different perspectives. All right. So today objective is very simple. We want to create, that is, we want to innovate, develop, then we want to learn. Okay. And number three, we want to act. And as much as possible, if you are with your phone, probably you're actually looking at it from your phone, fine. But most importantly, it will be very much um, um, plausible that you are on your system, because in the next 15, 30 minutes thereabout, we're going to go back to hands-on, and we're going to be able to do one or two things, because we want to fulfill this last objective, which is act. We want to actually make the difference. We want to actually use a tool to achieve our objective. All right, so I picked up something from X application I was reading, so I saw something, and I've actually been able to caption it this way to look at the silent crisis in academia. All right, so permit me to start this way to say that author that doesn't exist, journals that were never published, studies that never happened, sometimes, somehow, is what we'll cut across when we use AI. So it's very funny to hear that, but that is the bitter truth. All right. So many of us, we are aware that we have a lot of AI tools, okay, generative Gen AI tools today that actually being used for research. There is ChatGPT, there is Mental AI, there is Grok, there is Cloudy, there is Copilot. So we have arrays of them. All right. So another point is also that some will say, fine, if you have this, that if you pay heavily for it, it will actually give you what you want. It will give you citations that are correct, this, and that, which is also fine. There's no doubt about that. But when it comes to academics, we must be able to marry what we have in academics to what AI is actually saying. So I coined this, and it was like a debate. And at the end of the day, somebody said my PhD student submitted a thesis chapter last 3 weeks, and 3 citations were completely fabricated. That is to say that even when ChatGPT is to give you a citation, you would definitely discover that if it's giving you like 10 or 20, at least statistically, if you look at the percentage, maybe 3 or 4 might not be correct. All right, so let's proceed. So what we have in research, so primarily our objective in academics in our institution is to actually engage in research. There's this saying that we have core mandate. Our core mandate is teaching, research, and community development, whether we're in the university or the Polytechnic or the Monotechnic, whichever of these institution we find ourselves. Our core mandate, just like I said, teaching, research, and community development. But when you look at even the word teaching, and when you also look at the word community development, something still rally around it, which is the word research. Because in your teaching, you also need to find out how to do it better. In community development, we need to be able to grow our community, affect our community better. So the word research simply is saying you are trying to improve upon what is existing. You are trying to bring upon a new way or improving on what is already known. So when we now pick the word research, research is not totally saying it's all about paper publication. No, research can be something within your environment that you want to know about and you want to make a report about. Research can be in the way you teach. How do you teach it? Are the students really getting you? Research can be within your community, how to improve your community engagement within your localities. So research in most cases is not always saying totally we are looking at paper publication all the way around. But ultimately, when you have a research, you might want to disseminate it. So when you want to disseminate whatever you have actually researched upon, then it comes to you having what is called reports, paper publication, conferences, and so forth. All right. So I have a caption here, and I said research can be looked upon as exploratory, experimental, survey, quantitative, or qualitative, as the case may be. Okay. So I will try and make a stop here in a way. Let me, because I wanted to do something fundamental. Let me stop this and also share another screen so that I want to paste something and I want us to have a look at it. So I would send something to our chat now. I'll send something to the chat so that I want us to just quickly look at that. I'm going to send a link to the chat box so that can help us. So let me share that screen. All right, so now I want us to go to the first slide. Okay, so I want us to make a response. So you can look at, if you can see my screen, you'll see what I have here. So if you go to menti.com, you can actually make a response. So I want us to make a response. So what is AI in your opinion, in one word? What is AI? So let me have our responses. So very quickly, so you have 6. Can I have more? Can we have more very quickly? You can just scan. You can click on the link. So when you click on the link, whether with your phone or on your laptop, then you can see this number. Then you can actually make response to the simple question. Let's be fast. I still need more opinions because I can see that we are going to like almost 50 online. So if you can quickly see the way we write. Thank you. Can see more. If you can get more. Okay, we can quickly make it faster. Just give you an idea about it. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. So all right. If we're done with okay, so all right. So let's go to the next one. Or if okay, should I still have 1 minute? to see any other. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So now let's proceed to the next slide. To also have a question. So here now, I think we have what is your opinion about AI in one word. So we have a cloud word. So the most visible cloud word here is assistant, and I think research assistant, caregiver learning machine for task automation, co-researcher, intelligent simulation, support system, efficiency. Okay, right, thank you. So next slide. Now, next slide, I want to see where we're actually coming from in the next slide. Maybe are you in the science and engineering, management and social sciences, art and linguistics, and others. So if we can have more from these questions also. Can we have more? So that to be able to see the audience that we're actually talking to, so that we can actually leverage our talk very well within the audience. All right. Okay, because of our time, I think thank you for your opinion and thank you for sharing. All right, so I'm going to stop sharing so that we can proceed. All right, thank you. All right. All right, so thank you. Philosophy, we'll have actually used the, okay, social science, real estate. All right, so let me go back to the slide that we are actually working with the other time. It's late to share. Okay. All right, so so I have opinion now, so that I can actually do a cross talking across the different field. So whichever field we find ourselves here, whether in the social sciences, in the engineering, we have a way of bringing up our research, but the center point, which I want to highlight before leaving here, is that the research gap, which is the center point, research gap. Now, there's no research we want to come up with. There's nothing, there's no substantive discovery we want to make if it is not contributing to knowledge, if it is not improving what is existing is already existing. That means we are not actually doing anything. We are just putting up write-ups. We are just putting up, we're just curating. We're just curating texts. Okay? But our research we must be able to find the gap. What is the gap that is still existing? Then, after we find the gap, what is going to be the contribution to knowledge that we want to actually put up? All right, so the first point that I want to make as we make progress right from the first instance is to say that we have AI hallucination. All right, so the AI hallucination talked about what the validity of what AI is actually generating. How do you prove that AI is giving the right results? How do you prove that AI is providing the right answer? Okay, so very quickly, I will just say this as information to us. Maybe probably in the next subsequent event, we can narrow it down more and see what we have done. Now, do you believe me? How many of us believe that I have actually performed AI operation within what we did in the question that we answered, the 2 slides, how many of us, just put it in the chat box, let me see. How many of us know that we actually did AI? We did AI in those 2 opinions that we share. How many of us know that we actually did AI? We have performed AI. How many of us know that we performed AI? All right. So in the 2 instances that I shared in those answers that we provided, I actually did an AI operation. The first one, the question I asked is that I asked a question about your opinion about AI, and you provided answer. And there is a cloud analysis, a cloud 1 analysis that I did. And that one in AI is what is called opinion mining or sentiment analysis. So I performed AI operation. The second one that I did is to categorize we participants in this group. I actually categorize us into 3 different classes. And that is also AI, which is called classification, right? Categorizing people or categorizing events into classes. So in this course of today now, I've actually performed 2 AI operations, opinion mining and classification, all right? Which means that the AI that we are talking about, the ChatGPT, the Grok, all the AI tools that you are looking at, is actually trained, okay? It's actually trained with data by somebody that designed it, by a group of people, or the company that actually designed the tool. The AI tool we are looking at, ChatGPT, Grok, Kimi, Cloudy, and all the ones that we can talk about, Gemini, they are actually trained on data. So the data that they are trained upon are multimodal data. Multimodal means text data, voice data, image data, different type of data. And the data are so massive. And that is why you see them coming up with different versions every time, because they need massive system to train massive model. Okay, so you will not discover that the parameters of the models, as higher they are, the better they have been able to train the model. Okay, so that is the information I want us to have at the back of our mind. So if models have been trained, you can now discover that that model that has been trained cannot be 100% correct. It cannot be 100%. If it is 100% or something like, let's say 1.0 in accuracy, 100% in accuracy, there is something that is called overfitting that could come around. So if you agree that AI could not be 100%, getting to near to 100%, that means there's a possibility of hallucination. So if there's possibility of something that is hallucination, that is bringing about something that needs to be verified, on that need to be, you need to have a background checkoff. So we need to be aware that there is what is called AI hallucination. Okay, let's quickly go on and let's see the dual edge of AI in research so that can be fast. So you and I we will agree that from our answers now, we discovered that the most every of the answers were provided very fine, very fantastic about AI. So if we agree with that, that means we in our workflow, that our rapid idea about AI we should brainstorm with AI. Okay, we should engage with AI. 2, we should use AI for discovery, conduct highly specific literature, search and map citations network from our side. Then number 3, have a very good analytical support, because it's doing that for us. It can actually summarize, it can do a lot of complex abstract methodology, forecasting. These are the beautiful things that AI can do for us. Okay, now let's look at the con side. Fabrication citations, we should be aware of that those things can come up. Even if we have a paywall, those things can still arise. Devastating state, manuscript retraction, and severe allegations. Because one of the things that happens these days is that we need to check against it, that even we as a researcher, some of us who can just go to AI and just say, AI, give me something, write introduction for me, write literature review, write this, write that. And those things, by the time they come up, they become plagiarized material. Some will say, is it not good that when we generate it, we can also humanize it? I'll bring an idea up for us to engage in discussion in the light of time. So when we ask questions, we can also engage with that. Okay, loss of intellectual property, intellectual debt. Now, this is one of the most reasonable things that I want us to also be aware of. Now, we have arrays of paper that are being generated every day. You also publish paper, I publish paper. There are reports here and there that are online. So the question now is that if you use AI to generate all your reports, generate all this, generate that, and you publish it, who is going to be reading your paper? Who is going to be reading those papers that are published? So how do you provide intellectual properties for your engagement? Okay. All right. So quickly, let's move on to look at the will of trust. So what is the will of trust, therefore? How do we use AI, okay, to help us, knowing fully well that it has come to stay? There is no doubt about it. It has definitely is something that any one of us must engage with. We must engage with it with caution and with meaningfully. All right. So quickly, I look at the trust. So the first T, you can see the will of trust from T to T. So treat AI as an assistant, not as an authority. Okay. Number 2, rely on verification. Okay. Number 3, uphold intellectual authorship. And that is one of the key areas also that we should be preaching as academics. That is going to help you and I, because if we are not careful, people are not going to be reading. Okay? People are not going to be reading anymore. And permit me at this point in time to say this way, that when ChatGPT is, all these AI tools are okay, but when you are committed to putting your totality onto it, your brain becomes dull. Your brain is no more engaged. Though you might be thinking that you're learning new things, but at the same time, the natural way that the brain is designed means that you must be able to engage yourself first in reading, in getting some ideation, getting some ideas that you want to engage these tools with. Now, it's good that we use it, but primarily, where do we start from? And that is where I want to show us in the course of time when we have this answer. All right. Next one is study research critically. Okay, that's one of the also point. Study research critically. No, we talked about research gap. How do you identify that there is a gap? If you have not been able to know what is existing, you don't have any paper that you have read in line with what you want to do. You just went on to start ChatGPT straight or AI2 straight. You put up you just say, give me a topic in this area. It provided you a topic. You say, continue to write introduction, literature review. Without you personally, as somebody, as a learning person, to sit, download 2 or 3 papers, read critiques, look at the gap, identify the methodology that are used in those papers, see where the authors are coming from, see where they are going, see feature suggestions in those research, and try and compare those papers by yourself personally. And with doing that, that will have given you a leverage to say, when you now want to use AI tool, you already have enough information with yourself, and you also have direction towards good discovery in your research. So I have this as that. So quickly, let's look at the mapping tools. We might not be able to look at all these tools today as much as possible, but we'll bridge it somewhere. So we have the mapping tools for literature landscape. Knowing fully well that when we want to start a research, the topic is not even the most important. The topic of our research or thesis or our paper is not the first thing. Even the introduction is not the first thing. The first thing is the literature. What is existing? What do you think has been existing? How has it been existing? What has been done here and there, globally, locally, regionally? What is it that has been done in that area? Something must be existing that you want to find out, and that is what is called literature review. So I want to put it to us that even literature review is, despite the fact that it's in chapter 2, is this the first thing that we need to do when we are doing any research. All right. So these are the different tools as much as possible that we can actually use. We will try and engage probably one or two as much as possible, but there is a real one that we want to, there is a particular one that we want to look at today that can actually bridge many of these tools in the literature landscape. All right. The next one is the AI power research lifecycle. I so much love this annotation. And one of the things that we want to learn today is actually what I actually used and discovery, just like Dr. Ben said, our mind must be learning. Now, if you stop learning, you start dying. So our mind must keep learning every day. And that is why we improve the body. That's why also we improve the brain, because brain is also AI. So you must keep on energizing. In physics, they call something excitation states. So you must keep on firing your brain, because your brain is also a neuron. Just AI is full of artificial neurons. The brain is full of natural neurons. So you must keep firing your brain. Okay, so you must keep learning every day. So here we'll look at the AI power research lifecycle from conceptualization, discovery to knowledge base. And at the center point, which is the more longer middle point, what I call it now, maybe triangle or rectangle, vertical rectangle. So we'll look at this tool, particularly the notes book LM today, as much as possible for our hands-on. Okay, all right. So having completed that session, now you want to transit to use AI. And now many of us will use AI, but we use AI without a very good knowledge of saying, how do I engage? Because it's like a conversation, all right? So you say this is an assistant, co-researcher, it's an assistant, somebody you are talking to, like if somebody you think is an expert also. You are not an expert, all right? So you think somebody is also an expert. But if you don't think like an expert and talk to AI as an expert, believe me, you will just be getting normal results. Because, like I said, AI is trained on diverse issues across the world. You cannot say AI is only trained on psychology, or AI is trained on economics, or AI is trained on geography, or is trained on physics, or is trained on chemistry. It's actually trained on diverse issues around the world. So when you come up with AI and you want to provide prompts, your prompt engineering must be skilled. You must be able to provide promptable prompts. When I say promptable prompts that are specific and direct to what you want it to do. I cannot just come up and say something vague. Now, if I want to write a program that probably have been designed, let's say I want to design a CNN network to recognize an image. Now, if I come up to ChatGPT, I must be able to tell ChatGPT which language do I want to use. Now, if I want to use Python, Python has two different flares for image, for artificial intelligence, building artificial intelligence model. We have TensorFlow, we have PyTorch. Now, if I want you to do very good for me, I must be able to be very specific to say, I know that you are an expert in PyTorch for something, something, something. So by that, I'm narrowing down my prompt, making it very specific, making it very professional, so that by the time it's going to give me the result, it's going to narrow down to the professionalism of where I'm looking to give me the right answer. So we already know that should be the way we should go. All right. So the role context, the precise tasks, data topic constraint, formatting output, i.e. the result output. So these are little steps that I have to provide for us for our better, for us to have a better prompt engagement with AI. So quickly, let's look from ideation to planning. Now, if you are topic brainstorming, you can say, give 10 research topic on so-so-go field, why they matter in 2025, one challenge question, one key question. As an expert in so-so-so field or in so-so-so area, you have narrowed down and you are going to help whichever of the tools you use to bring out the results. Now, number three, the next one is question builder. You can see also there, then hypothesis generation, then research plan. These are some of the little details which you can also engage more to provide your when you deal with AI tools. Okay, so in literature review, you can also see a little bit of the prompt that will come up with here that can also help us in our search of literatures. All right. So in the analysis also, you can also have some of these prompts also that are here. And the beautiful thing that was said by Dr. Ben the other time is that many of us, we don't, these days, there are a lot of things AI can do. But if you don't engage it meaningfully, you might not even see results. All right. So AI can provide for you data analysis. Okay, it can actually help you to analyze your data. It can actually help you to structure it in tables. It can actually generate Excel of that table for you. It can actually give you a plot of that data. Okay, it can go on and do a lot of things. Now, for us, for those of us that probably we publish on Scopus or Web of Science or Springer, you discover that many of these journal or publishers, they are somehow interested in LaTeX. Now, if you are not very good in LaTeX, you can use ChatGPT to provide yourself with simple prompt and all that. You convert your documents in Word, in text, you convert it to LaTeX very easily. And you put your LaTeX code, put it into LaTeX software, it runs it, the result is out. So you can even ask it to generate the PDF of that LaTeX for you, and there's some massive that we can actually get from using it. All right, so very quickly as we go into a close to the end, the imperative of the transparency. So what do we need to therefore do? So we must be able to uphold the trust framework. All right, so we also need to use AI transparently with ourselves, the footprints. We also need to the last one I will just put is that synthesize must always remain yours. So you must be able to synthesize the information. Most times when I engage AI, I do something like this. I don't engage when I write. When I write paper, I tend to write my introduction myself. Now, when I write in this introduction, I can give it back to ChatGPT to look at it, reframe, redraft, and rewrite for me, and it will give it back. But I will never go back and pick that same text and put it into another AI to humanize for me. I've generated my own, I write, I put into ChatGPT to also redraft for me. And when I have it back, I don't go back to put it into another AI to humanize. Now, if you put back into AI to humanize, where do you stand therefore in that research? By doing so, you might not have assimilated nothing in that research, but you can actually sit down and read your introduction by yourself and try to break, if ChatGPT, because it's ChatGPT AI tool is used to generating long sentences, like 3-4 lines for a particular sentence, using hyphenation for that, for a sentence, you might need to sit down, read, break the sentences yourself, remove the hyphenation yourself, and do that. By the time you are doing that, you're actually synthesizing whatever AI has generated for you. And by the time you are reading and removing, trying to put command by yourself, trying to actually break long sentences by yourself, you are synthesizing and you also align your brain to learn. All right. So finally, on this note here, is that AI does not replace the researcher. It elevates the meticulous one. The burden of proof is higher than ever. But so is also the potential of unprecedented discovery. So the two-side coin now is that the burden of proof to prove the validity of research is greatly enormous, is higher than ever. But also we cannot debase the unprecedented discovery that we are having to use AI. So enter AI armed with academic shield. That is what I will say. All right. So thank you for the quick presentation here, and I will stop my screen. I will stop my sharing here so that I can share a hands-on now. So I don't know whether we have okay, maybe we will still, our question will be later after the hands-on. Okay, so quickly I want us to look at another I want to share on Notebook ML. If you have not had that one before, so let me share my okay, I can share the entire screen so that okay. So if you have Google Mail, whatever you already have, Notebook LM. Now this is one of the beautiful tools that that we're going to see one or two things about it today. So I want us to see whether we are on this page. You can just type notebooklm.google and let me see whether you are there. If you are there, just say hi so that we can proceed. Or just say thumb up. If you are there, let me just see whether you are there for us so that we can quickly we can proceed very fast. Are we there? Notebook LM, Notebook LM, Notebook LM, Notebook LM. All right. Now, before we proceed, one of the things I would like to say very quickly is that all of these AI tools, there's none of them that is totally free. So if they are not totally free, that means they are limited. And if they are limited, that means there's a limitation to what it can actually do for you based on your FOC. Okay, so my simple truth is that all of them, they have a paywall. Okay, so all of them, they have a paywall. So if they have a paywall, that means if you are paying for ChatGPT, maybe you are using Pro, 37,000, something like that. And in this era of Nigeria, maybe our salary is, or you are using it for business, you are gaining something from it, fine. But if you are using ChatGPT, you are paying heavily for that. You are using Cloud Code, you're also paying, using Gemini, paying, using Grok, paying, using Kimi, paying, using array of all of them, paying. I don't know how much our salary will remain when we pay for all of this. But one important thing I will say is that for us to get a best use of these AI tools, it is preferably also that we must be able to stick to one or two. Now, all of the arrays are fine. Sometimes when I write code, I might want to sit on 2 or 3. I might pick Cloud Code, pick ChatGPT, pick another one, then try to see how they provide the different code for me. But on a normal one, I go for a minimum one that I pay for, that I know I can stabilize around the finance and all that regularly. Okay, so that is one of the things I need to say here. Now, when you leverage on one, when you pay for one, maybe probably you are using, you can leverage on others to assist you. And that is what Notebook LM will achieve for us ultimately also. Another thing that we also need to know that I said earlier is that AI tools that we know, like the ChatGPT, Cloud or whatever, all that, they are trained. And when you are making prompts, they look at the different, even if your prompt is still narrowed down, they do a lot of sourcing for information from different areas, from different, for those of us that are in computer science, you discover that there are cloud of informations. So they look for areas where those information are stored on servers to go and fetch them and all that, and what it has been trained upon. Now, if you ask it to search on web, it will go around and be looking for those information and all that to give and provide for you. But whatever it has done is still generalized in a way. So let's look at what is approach of Notebook LM. All right, so if you click on it, you will discover that you have, oh, sorry, I want to go back to another one. Okay, so if you can see my screen now, so now you come to this point, you see the Notebook LM, then it asks you to create new notebook. Then the settings are here, not much within the setting for now. Then this is just the grid. You can set the grid, whether it is going to be lists or just like a grid. All right, so very quickly, we'll click on new notebook. So if you are there, let me know. All right. So in the new notebook, you will discover that the notebook LM is just like your library for you. Now, Dr. Ben said something the other time. He said, research has actually moved from traditional library, all right, to the era of AI. Now, that is to also tell us that library is still existing, and library will continue to exist. Even in the physical, we are still having library in our different schools today. And we still have physical, we still have books, we still have physical books, and people will still continue to read, people will still continue to publish. So library will not go into extinction. There's no day that library will go into extinction. But the way library is managed, the way library is being operated is now differs. It has now evolved. Okay, now LLM is acting for you like your own library. And how does it do that? It's an AI tool that allows you to narrow down your sources. It allows you to pick your sources for yourself. And the sources you pick for yourself, they are versatile sources. Okay, now you can upload files, you can upload links and videos. Sorry, let me go back to the sources. You can pull up things from your drive. You can also copy text and place it there. So we're going to use some of these things very quickly and see how it does. Now, for many of us, if you start our research, the best approach for me is to look for papers. Maybe if I go to Google, scholar.google, and I look for maybe I want to do something on the, let's say, fraud analysis, or let's say okay, let me just use fraud analysis, fraud detection in machine learning. Okay, credit card fraud detection using machine learning. All right, or I just pick any topic of your interest. You can just pick any topic of your interest as much as possible and just follow me the way I do it. Now, I want to actually look at what has been done, which is needful for me to do. So quickly, I will need to download papers. So the papers that I download, maybe probably I've downloaded 10, 20, and I've read and I've seen those that are of valid interest. Now, that means those sources now, they are verifiable sources for me. Okay, now if I download anything on Springer, Web of Science, and Scopus and all that, and I've read and I've looked at what has been done, those sources now become a valid source for me. Now, if I make use of them, therefore, I have been able to actually prove those sources. Okay, so I can upload those sources as much as possible as a file. All right. Now, let me try and do something like that on my system. Let me look for 1 or 2 files. So maybe something on the anomaly detection in animal. You can actually do your own. So I just want to put up two PDF. Maybe I've read them and all that. So I put them up. Okay, so I already have it now. Now I can go on in these sources. I can go on in these sources to add more files. I can go on to add a link. Maybe probably there's a link that I've actually know already. It can be a YouTube link. Maybe there's a video on YouTube that I've watched. Maybe I've watched a YouTube video that says anomaly detection in animal. Probably anomaly detection. Let me just look for a video. Anomaly detection on YouTube. Now, let's say if I watch this video and I so much this video is of interest to me. Sorry. If this video is of interest for me, I can copy the link, okay, and come over here and place the link. Okay, now I can put more links as much as possible by new line or just separate by space. Now, if I have read anything, maybe anomaly detection, Now, maybe I've read any links. Maybe there's any link that talk about anomaly detection very well, maybe, and it's a valid proof source. I've read it, and I discovered that it's a very good source for me. I can copy this link, can take this link, go back to my notebook LM and place it. So I'm inserting those two links now. So you discover that very quickly. I need to say something like this. Now, in the left side panel, it's for building sources. Sources means where you want your information to come from, verifiable sources that you're looking for your information to have come from. That is the left panel. The center panel is the chat panel, where you can actually engage in conversation. And the right panel is the beautiful studio that can do a lot of massive things for you. All right. So I go back quickly now. Now, this source now, in these sources, something also very funny, very beautiful can also be done. Now, let's say you are in a lecture, or you attended a lecture and you record the lecture, you record the voice of the lecture. You can also upload the voice here. You can also upload the file. You can also click, maybe you have a voice. I don't have a voice here. If I have, let's say if I have a voice, if you have a voice note that you have recorded probably in a particular lecture that you have attended a conference, you have attended a seminar, you have attended a workshop, and something of interest is for you, you can actually upload the voice notes. Okay, you can upload the voice notes. Let's say you go to ChatGPT, you did something on ChatGPT, maybe, let me just also go to that and see ChatGPT. And I said, discuss anomaly detection. Just because of our time, I just quickly did that, but that's not my prompt. That's not the way I do prompts. But I just quickly should just describe for me because of our time. So you just see it has given me all of this in a summary, and it has actually provided all of this for me. I can copy all of this that it has actually given me as an overview. I can copy and come to notebook LM and paste it as a text and insert. And that also becomes my source. Now, what am I trying to do here? I'm trying to build a credible source for myself for the research that I want to actually engage. It could be a research that you are looking for. It could be that you want to do, you want to publish a paper, you want to publish a book, you have an idea you want to build upon, you want something that you have an ideation you want to bring upon. It could be anything. It's not only paper writing alone. It could be a lecture. I want to develop a lecture notes or a lecture series. Any engagement, any research engagement you want to do, we're trying to build a source that you have verified. Okay. Now, another thing you can also do in this area is that you can also look at it here. There is what is called fast and this deep research also. You can use any of this for this engagement. That is, you cannot search from your Google Drive. Maybe all the information you already have in your Google Drive, they are meaningful. You can also search on the web. I can put up here and say anomaly detection. Please, as I'm doing my own, you can also be doing your own feed. That will make you to actually get to understand what we are talking about. So it's not that you be typing, you might not be typing my own, you'll be typing something that is relevant to your feed also. So just want us to get engaged. So let me have a little feedback if you are following me. Is my audio still clear? So please let me know. Is it clear? I'm not hearing anyone. Hello?
Yes, you are fine. Go ahead, sir. The participants are muted.
Okay. All right. No, they can just put it in the chat box so that I can see that they are following. All right. Thank you very much. All right. So now, okay. So we are here now. So I just typed something on the search. Now it did the search for me. So it has 7 more sources. Now I can click on view to expand those sources. Now these sources, you can import all of these sources that that notebook has actually searched, but it's not advisable to do that. That is not engaging. You know, I told us earlier that we need to engage the brain. Fine, there's AI, but the part of us that will be everlasting, that we ourselves will be happy with ourselves, even the brain will be happy with you, is for you to engage the brain. So we can actually look at these sources and see which one are valid or verifiable. All right. So we can click here to look at this information. This information is a PDF. It's coming up. So if you quickly scan through, maybe you quickly look at the introduction, you look at the methodology, you look at all the things that has been provided. Okay, fine. Oh, this one is good for my research. You note it. Okay. So let me go back. Now, something very important, very quickly, you can discover that there is a check button here, which has actually checked all these sources. So you can uncheck first. So when you have, while you are trying to get across all the sources, you'll be noting which one you find out that is applicable to what you want to do or verifiable to what you actually want to do. And you must also, in any of these sources that we are trying to upload to our sources, we must also check their copyright issue. Like if you are uploading a video, you must discover that that video is doesn't have any copyright issue. It must be like a free video or something like that. Or if you're uploading from a particular website, so that website, you discover that the information there should be like a free information before you actually upload to your source. So whichever of this one now that we have found out, maybe probably I've actually discovered that because of our time, maybe I'll find out that this one is okay for me, this one is okay for me, from 0 to this is okay for me. Maybe out of all these sources, maybe 3 of them are okay for me. And if all of them are also okay, you can just click on all sources. But if not, just select those ones that you find out that are very applicable. So if I've find out these that are applicable, then I can also import them. So that means what I'm doing around here now is that I'm building verifiable sources. I'm building verifiable sources. I'm not building something out of blue moon. I'm not building something that is generalized. Okay. So after you have finished building your sources, now you can now come up. You can see how engaging it is that you are building your library. And it's not that you can, when you build this, that you cannot build it for another, you can create another notebook for another research and start building another thing entirely. Okay. So you come up here and configure your charts. This is area also where you need to also be professional as much as possible. So there is a default, there's a learning guide, and there is a custom. So this custom, you can click on it and look at this, say, respond to me. So you can customize this place and say, respond as a, maybe as a professor or as an academic writing a paper. Okay, blah blah. Just provide a very good prompt that you want it to do. All right. So you can make it different. Yeah. So just this, depending on your own tune, you can customize as possible so that when you begin to make conversation, it begins to use your custom conversation goal, style, and rule to provide you the best answer. Okay, so you save, All right, so here you can delete chart histories and all that. So that's also one of the things. So after you've finished building your sources, now you might tend to use all the sources at a time. You might not tend to use all the sources at a time, depending on which one you want to engage with at a point in time. Now, let's say I want to pick maybe 4 or 5 of them, maybe, or I want to pick those ones that are PDF. Sorry, not PDF, those ones that are journal publication. I want to pick them to be able to write my literature review, or I want to use all of them. Let's say I want to use all of them now to write an introduction. I cannot just say, so I cannot provide a point as expert in academic writing, as expert in journal or manuscript writing, provide an introduction, or you can say I'm working on a project titled CNN for anomaly detection in ECG heartbeats. Are we still on board? Okay, anomaly detection in heartbeats. Anomaly detection, is it heartbeat now? Okay, epilepsy. This is epilepsy. Anomaly detection in epilepsy. Okay, so I can say as expert in journal writing, provide an introduction for me. Provide an introduction that is compelling and that is compelling. Let me just, because of the time, so then can I say write draft in not more than 5 to 6 paragraphs. Here you can also say probably provide statistics. If there are statistics, maybe probably the issue has been causing maybe number of deaths or whatever, something like that. Provide statistics, something like very interesting that you cannot actually draft your introduction. You cannot say just subtitled introduction. Okay, so you go on. So now it's going to be building. Okay, let's finish. Let's wait. Okay, so you can see what is actually happening. So you can see that it's actually written. So you can look at it and all that. Then from here now, you've got that it's actually reference where it actually picked those things from. So this is an introduction, right? So you can read the introduction. If you're not cool with introduction, you can delete your chart history. You can delete it. You can phrase it to write for you. But one beautiful thing about here is that you can see that it's actually used your credible source to provide you your information. Then you can read and read and read, look at it. Then you can look at even the questions and all that. Then one of the things, sorry, how did I click? It's generating another thing. So don't worry, don't mind me. All right, so you can actually copy this. You can copy it out of here to your probably where you are drafting. Then you can also save it as a note. Okay, you can save it as a note for yourself. So if you save it as a note, it will become part of the note that you're already gathering for yourself. All right, but before we save it, okay, let's save it as a note. You can save it as a note so that for us, okay, listen. So it has actually saved it as a note here. Then we can move on. Let me remove this. it's going to get one after the other. Okay, for me not to waste my time. So I just wanted to show something that is also quite funny or quite interesting. Is that now I have this introduction now. Now somebody will say these are not references. This is just pointing to the sources that we have. Your sources here the sources that we have actually used there is this one is actually pointing to. But we can make it to do something very interesting for us. All right. Now we can go back to redraft the introduction by saying it should use citation. So let's say now if you have more papers that you have, here now I only have 2 papers here in PDF. Now if you have more papers, I can ask it to redraft the introduction for me. So you can ask it to redraft the introduction. By citing, redraft the introduction to include inline citation using upper 7 style reference style. So you can actually use to do this. So let's say what's going to happen. So it's going to pick, it's actually picking 2 sources for me now. It's picking 2 sources to redraft the introduction, and it's going to cite it in upper. It should be able to it's going to do the referencing for me in upper 7th format, inline citation. So let's see, internet. Okay, so you can actually see that we have the citations, all right? One, and so you can look at the paper. So all these sources, you can actually look at the paper. You can click on the paper when you actually upload them. You can click on the sources. You can actually see the preview of all the sources also, okay? So you can see the preview of the sources that you upload, right? So you can see the diagram in each of those sources that you upload. From here. You can click to go back. The second one, I can also click. Okay, so you can see it's Elsevier document. Then you can see the author and blah blah. The author is also there. Okay, so maybe the paper is, I don't know. Okay, so you can actually see the paper. So it's providing us with those 2 references now. Now, if you finish up with the introduction, you can say list the references. These references in upper style 7 point. Okay, so it's also using these 2 sources. Now I check these 2 sources that are PDF here. So it's going to also use these 2 sources and list the references for me. So you can see how engaging it is. Now, okay, so you can see the list of the 2 references now that has been. Now, as we're doing all this, you can be saving as a note, or you can be copying them as much as possible. Okay, you can be saving it as a note, and you can also be copying those things as much as possible. And one of the beautiful things is that when you engage much about this, you have generated, as we are generating any of the notes that you generate, any of the note that you save and generate, you can click on it and take it back as your source. You can convert the note back to be your source. So if so it's converting the note back as my source now. So you can see that the last note that I did here is converted. You can see the note. So this is the note. It's converted back for me as a source, so that when I'm engaging, it can also be taking the notes that it can be doing what is called back in deep learning. We call it backward propagation. It can be going back to what is already trained upon. It is already known in the line of discussion. So it's not lost. It's not totally lost out of discussion. Unlike ChatGPT, that if you are not so careful with your prompts or any of the generalized AI tool that you are just sourcing information from different angles, it might be lost in transit unless you are very professional with your prompt, that you can keep track of what you're actually doing. But here, you have your sources already. And any of the information you generate, by the time you keep it as a note, you save it as a note, you convert it back to be your source, it keeps tracks of your discussion. So it's not forgetful, right? That's one of the beautiful things in deep learning. In deep learning, we call it LSTM, not being forgetful. A gated network that is not forgetful. So as you're pulling back those notes that you are generating, as you are converting it back to source, it's actually keeping track of your line of discussion, and you can actually make reference to it that, okay, in the introduction, in so places, right, give me something like that in your discussion. You can just say, okay, part of what you have in your introduction, use it as part of my discussion for me in your result and whatever. So these are the things that you can actually be doing and all that, and you can be engaging as much as more as that. You can go on to literature review and say, click on all the sources and say, generate for me the literature review, and the literature review will be done as much as possible. Okay, so let me click on all the sources now. Okay, so let's make a progress. Now, one of the things that is also very beautiful about Notebook LM is that this studio is fantastic. The right-hand side here is fantastic in such a way that it's marvelous. Now, I'll pick on two things, maybe because of our time. Do we still have much of the time? Okay, because this is already 12. Okay, so I'll just pick one or two things. Now, here, audio. Now, depending on the sources that we have created, depending on the sources that we have created or on the node that you have generated, okay, you can actually convert them into audio transcription. You can convert them into audio transcription, make it debatable. Now, if not because of my time, I would have done something here because of internet. Now, when you can say debate about, so you can also provide the prompt, how you want the debate to look like. Maybe you want this debate, analyze it, this. It will generate, okay? It will generate the audio file for us. So let me try to now it will generate the audio file. Now, by the time it generates the audio file for you, you can play back the audio file to have better understanding. So while you are driving, while you want to sleep in the night, or while you are doing something, you can be playing back the audio to keep yourself abreast about what you are doing. So it generates the information that we have actually done. It creates it back into audio. And that audio is very funny, like a broadcast. Now, just like if you do like you have completed this work now and you want to make it like a broadcast, you can also engage within the line of discussion. Let's say you are playing the audio. It's just that the audio is not generating fast because of the internet. Now, if I play the audio back, there's a place I can stop the audio and I join the conversation. I don't know whether I understand my point. Now, in the audio format, two people can be talking in this audio that we want to generate. Now, if we make it like a debate, two people can be talking within the conversation. They'll be debating. Now, in the line of the debates, when you are playing it back, there's a button you can click to join the conversation. Then they will now, they say somebody wants to join the conversation, they will pause and allow you to speak also. So you join the conversation and also discuss alongside. So when you are discussing alongside, those things are also being recorded all together that you can also post as a podcast. So that's one of the things that are also very beautiful about this. Then, maybe because of our time, so let me go to this. There are other beautiful things that are here. Let me go to mind map. Let me quickly go to mind map. Maybe that one can actually quickly generate for me because of the internet. Let me see. Okay, so mind map is out. Okay, so you can see quickly mind map. Mind map is just like you're see something like a visual representation of how the study trend look like. Okay, when you're doing literature review, you see where and where you want to write your literature review scope, maybe to cover wider scope. So you can draw a map of those line of discussion. You can see what it does now. If you click on this, sorry. So it takes the definition, parthenogenesis stages, and all that. If I click on this, it takes me also back. So it's expanding line of discussion. It's telling me chemical models, different things. If I click on this, it will also expand and tell me more. So you can see how it's actually generating those line of discussion, and you can drag, you can do a lot of things. After you do all this expanding, you can even snap it and make it like your survey in literature review. Okay, so you can expand what are the genetics properties. So it expands all this discussion like a mind view. You can go on and click on techniques in use for this. You can see, okay, so you can see how it's actually expanding the line of discussion. We use isolation forest, look at this, deep learning. It gives us like an overview of everything that we need to know in anomaly detection in this aspect that we are dealing with. So you can keep on expanding and see the line of trend. And as it keep on expanding, it keep on generating those line of discussion for us. You can see that it's actually expanding those line of thoughts. It's expanding on them. Okay, it's expanding on them as we're moving forward. So that's one of the beautiful things about. Then you can download. You can download the image map. You can download the map. You can copy. You can place it anywhere to form part of your research. Okay, reports. Okay, so this is also very beautiful. You can also make a report. So I said it the other time. It's not only paper. It can be an idea that you want to provide. It can be a blog post. It can be a study guide. It can be a brief document. It can be like you want to start writing a book. Okay, it can be a strategic plan. It can be model validation report. It can be like you want to produce a report for a particular study guide, a study that you did. It can be like an explainer. It can be a narrative. Different type of report. You can actually generate it from here. Okay, and maybe the last. Though there's beautiful two other ones that we have. You can generate slide. You can generate infographics. Okay, but let me see here. Okay, so this is also very important. You can create like a data for those of us that we do normally do literature review, that you need to put authors, author title, year, findings, and all that. This will generate something like that for us. So I click on table. Okay, so why this one is still trying to come up? So okay, so now you can see here. So I expand. You can see something for us. So you can see that we have animal model, induction method, mechanism and action, key psychologists, which are different information on the table. And the sources are also provided. So this can form like a literature matrix in our study. So instead of now sitting down and finding out how to do literature matrix, easily you can do literature matrix here and copy this. It's already in your material. Just trying to fine tune and all that. It's already part of your thesis or your write-up. And the most valid thing that 100% you can beat your chest about is the credible source that it has generated for you. You can actually beat your chest about that. Okay? All right. So infographics, maybe next time if you have time. Doctor, is my time up?
Your time is more than up, sir.
All right. So lastly, before I just give you the time to go on, is that now one of the beautiful things about this also is that now I said that you can pay for any of these AI tool like Cloud Core or ChatGPT or none of them. There's a beautiful way you can actually integrate your notebook with your paywall in any of these AI tool, and it will now make your notebook to now be more versatile, more power. You are giving it strength. Okay, you are enriching it. So maybe in a subsequent time we can be looking at that all together. So thank you for having me, and just lay your hands on infographics slide. You can generate your slide. Now, if you have done this, if you have finished your presentation and all that, you can take all your sources to generate a complete slide for you. You can come back with your analysis. Maybe probably you have run your experiment on another system. The data that you have generated in your experiment, you can insert it. You can pull back your data as an image. Because here in the upload file, in these sources, sorry, let me go to sources. In these sources, When you say upload file, it can be an image. So you can all your analysis, your image that you have generated in your result, your table that you have generated in your experiment, you can put them back here to analyze for you, to discuss it alongside. And when you have done that, when you want to create slide, it will make use of many of this information for you to generate your slide for you. Very beautiful. So thank you very much. Dr. Ben.
All right, thank you, Dr. Johnson. Please, colleagues, can you please appreciate him with the thumbs up, the clapping, all the reactions, emojis on Teams. It's been wonderful. It's been engaging. In fact, my knowledge has overblown. And in fact, I never knew Notebook can do this. Recently, I wrote a systematic review, and I took quite about 2 weeks with ChatGPT. But I think Notebook has brought up some new concepts again, which I will definitely explore. So you see why I said that you can never know everything. And events like these allows us to learn from ourselves and to be able to see what we are doing and how we can improve on what we are doing. So Dr. Johnson, we are very grateful. I know there are a lot of questions. You can check the chat messages, Dr. Johnson, to see the lot of questions there. Then you can attend to them as quickly as possible. Number one, somebody is saying, can you generate graphical abstract? Before I take 1 or 2 live questions, somebody, so can you quickly answer yes or no? If it can generate graphical abstract.
Sure, it can actually generate graphical abstract.
Okay.
But what about how we actually use it?
Oh, okay. Okay. Can it give correct citations and references?
We did it now. We just did it just now.
Yes, I agree.
That's what we did.
Yes,
That's what we did, because if you have, let's say you have 15 papers or 20 papers PDF that you have verified, and you have there, it will generate it as your references, your citation. You can even change it. For those of us that are in science, IEEE use numeric numbers, IEEE Elsevier, some of them use numbering and all that. You can change it to their citations. It will do the numbering. It will give you in IEEE format. And if you want to, if you actually want to also damage the control very well, when I say damage the control, you can put a copy. You can pick an example of the reference and take it as your source and refer to it.
Okay. Somebody is asking that does Notebook also hallucinate?
Okay, so the word hallucination now comes from when you are very generic. Now, it doesn't really hallucinate. It's based on your sources. And that is where the little, I will not call it pain, the little time you need to take to input credible sources. Because it now depends on your sources. Because you are the one now that is now providing the source. It's now helping you. Instead for you now to sit down with all the sources and now start reading one after the other, it's helping you to go through all the sources. You cannot say that when you read the paper and you make something out of it, it's hallucination. No.
Okay. Do you understand my point now? Yes, sir. Somebody is also asking, with this robust interaction with Notebook LM, is there need to paraphrase the introduction or anything generated?
Okay. Just like I said the other time, it depends on how it works for us. We don't 100% want to say we shouldn't verify, we shouldn't synthesize. No, I'm not saying that. Whether it's a Notebook that has given it to us or any of the two, we need to synthesize it. Now, sometimes if any one of them has provided for me, what I do is always to read back. I might not really intend to agree with one intonation of English or grammar that sometimes might give me. I might want to change it. And quickly when I read, I change myself. That is synthesizing. And when you're also reading, your brain is also telling you, because sometimes the way you want to portray the information might not be the way the AI tool want to give it to you. So you can actually engage with whatever has actually been generated. And when you finish up with that, there's no crime. There's no crime in the world that says you cannot test, you cannot do a test, Turnitin test by yourself. You can test your work. It's also improving oneself. So there's no crime in also putting whatever you have done, put it into Turnitin and see what you have done.
Okay, let me quickly take one or two voice questions. Dr. Ali Galba, I think, please unmute yourself and ask your question.
Right.
Dr. Ali Galba, are you there? Just unmute and ask your question. Okay. Mr. Isaac Bankole, can you also unmute? Let me unmute, allow mic for you. Okay, please unmute and ask your question. All right, so while they are still trying to look for the buttons, somebody here is asking, give us a procedure to follow for searching, searching research on notebook LM. So maybe that's another benefit for you. You can look at packaging a book where you can be able to do something like this. So
Okay.
they want a step-by-step guide, which I think it's also
Okay.
good. You were sharing your
All
contact.
right.
Please leave it on. Somebody wants to see your contact. They
Okay.
want to copy it. Quickly
right.
stay on your contact so that they can copy it and get across to you after the meeting. There's somebody on the Q&A that asked something here. It says, I want to ask about how to add papers published in subscription-based journals. How will I add them on the notebook LM?
Okay, it's very simple. We need to download. Okay, download the paper. That's simple. So when you download the paper, you had it. So it actually allows, that's what I did. Now for those sources, those first paper that I need to share again? Should I?
No, just answer. No.
Okay, so part of your sources, you download your paper. Okay, when you download your paper, then you put it back to notebook. You download it. So to download can now be, okay, so quickly, let me just do something like this. Doctor, if you permit me just a minute.
It's all right.
I know we cannot finish everything today, but like just so we're in the world of science. So now, here now, I'm on Google Scholar. Something very funny you can actually also do to create a lot of things for yourself. Sometimes I do a pattern like that if I don't want to read too many of the paper the time, but I ensure that I read paper. Now, if I click on here, you will see that there is a citation that comes on from here about this author. Now, if you go on and click on the paper, you will see something like an abstract of the person. Sorry, trying to verify. So I'm trying. Okay, so you will see the abstract of the author. Now you can maybe you don't really have time to read everything, so you can just copy this abstract. You can copy the abstract of this person. You copy it, then you go and paste it in MS Word. You copy the author's citation. You place it in MS Word. Maybe probably you place the author citation first, then you place the abstract under it. Then you now do it for like almost, let's say, 15 authors in a Word document and save it. And you pull it into your notebook. It becomes also your source, your credible source. So you can actually also engage with that source to provide more literature review for you. So you can actually pick those authors' name, those authors' reference, and the abstracts, and use it to write literature review as part of your literature review or related work in your paper. Do you get that? Understand that's a strategy. So that's another genius. Then you can also download paper as much as possible. Then for some of us, we use SkyUp. This site can actually, if you don't want a paper pure wallpaper, you can actually use a Sky. I know many of us know that. So skyhub.ru, or as the site I'm giving here. So you put your DOI here, you put the DOI of the paper here, then it can actually give you the paper. If the paper is not too recent, because if it is 2026 or 2025, you need to have somebody that has a library that has actually subscribed to that. I think we need to also look at that, Dr. Ben.
Okay.
Because there's also library that we can actually partner with that can actually help us to source for paper that people are looking for.
Okay, we'll consider that in the nearest future.
But you can actually, majority of your paper can actually be sourced from this site with your DOI. So thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. I think we've about answered most of the questions. The two speakers that raised their hand, I'm sure maybe their questions have been okay. Dr. Ankeli wants to say something. Let me unmute you. Okay, Dr. Ankeli, you have the floor, please. You can unmute yourself and speak. Dr. Ankeli, please, you can unmute and speak. Just look for the unmute button. Okay, I don't know why people are not unmuting.
Yeah,
I can't. Okay, please go ahead, sir.
Thank you very much. I just want to appreciate Dr. Olanrewaju for this. I don't know, heartbreaking. I will use the word heartbreaking package that we have been exposed to today. Now, there are several things we have been doing. Yes, several things I've been doing, but to go to this length, I've never. I want to thank you for this eye opener, because this notebook thing,
Thank you, sir.
I've never used it.
Thank you, sir.
And I will try as from next week, beginning to explore more. Once again, thank you.
Please do, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Please do.
Thank you very much.
Please do. All right, thank you, sir.
All right, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Dr. Ankeli, you want to say something? Can you unmute now? Dr. Madu? Just few people, please, so we can move on to the next speaker. Okay, I think maybe the others. Dr. Madu, can you unmute? Have you located your mute button? Dr. Olufemi, Dr. Bamiboye, any of you, can you unmute? I've unmuted you from here. Just all right. Look, okay, Dr. Olufemi, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, who is speaking?
Can you hear me?
Hello.
Okay. One person should mute.
Hello.
Yeah, please go ahead, sir.
This is Dr. Olufemi Adesina.
All right, sir.
I just want to say a big thank you to Dr. Johnson Olanrewaju. He actually opened our eyes to a lot of things, especially on notebook. We really appreciate him, and we promise that what we have been taught today is going to prove us in our research assignment as lecturer. Once again, I want to say thank you, Dr. Olanrewaju Johnson.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much, sir.
Can you have the floor?
Yes, thank you. Yes. So I want to join other participants to thank Dr. Olanrewaju. In fact, this is a combination of both theoretical and practical aspects of how to navigate through the world of research. I want to appreciate you. Exposing us to this concept of the notebook LM is a huge plus, and I've already started exploring it. Thank you very much.
Yeah, all right, thank you so much, ma. So, Dr. Madu, I'm sure you are unable to unmute, so I'm going to let you go, maybe the next session. So, Dr. Johnson, thank you so much. We'll need to move on to the next person online. Our next speaker is there waiting for us, so just not to keep him waiting. Okay, let me just see if I can do this. Yes. Okay. So, like I said before, a day spent at the table with a wise man is better than thousands that you spend with books. And I'm sure you have been able to see that proverb being displayed now. Even for me, as much as I know, I've learned something today about Notebook LM. I actually saw a graphic a colleague did some days back in South Africa, and I was like, "How did you do?" He said Notebook LM. I said, and I went there. The whole place was confusing. And the beautiful thing I saw about it is the inline citation is able to tell you exactly where in the article it got that text from, which basically is what Jenny AI is selling now. Because Jenny AI is now having a tool where they can tell you, okay, this is where your citation is in that article you have mentioned. So with Notebook LM, it shows that I don't need to pay for Jenny AI. I can actually use that here. So I'm going to also use it and see how it improves my research. So I think it's time to welcome our second presenter in person of Engineer Matthias Oladele. He is going to be taking us through the ChatGPT platform. And I don't know, like I said, the speakers have their own freedom to take over the presentation the way they want. Engineer Oladele, are you there? Please, can you unmute so I can know we are together?
Yes, I am here.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. You know, South Africa network does not go like Nigeria network. So let me stop sharing and allow you to have access to start your own sharing. You can have the floor now. Let me stop recording now so that you can start.